All right. Well, welcome to episode 36 of the 5-Star Podcast, where we talk about all things Toronto real estate. And today we're talking about, what's happening in the market today. It's kind of strange because we're technically in the spring market, but is it really springing?
Not really, springing at all.
Yeah, it's really strange. Man.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Oh, dude.
Rod, turn your phone off.
You said to silence your phones.
Dude.
Silent or now? Do the silence.
I just did. Okay,
You
use
just turned
that
it
for the
off,
intro.
bro.
Sure.
That's even better.
That's going in.
Put it in.
One job, man.
There
One
we go.
job.
There we go.
One
Okay.
job.
Did you
Here
turn
we
it
go.
off now?
It's off. How about yours?
Is it?
It's
I'm
off,
on
man.
do not
Okay.
disturb.
Good,
Mine's
we're good.
on silent.
Oh, you got it. Do not disturb.
Do not
Easy. All
disturb.
right, chill.
Mine's on
Yeah.
vibrate.
Chill.
No one just calls me. That's fine.
All right, so yeah, we're talking about the general market today and what our feelings are towards, or what's happening, right? So, what are you guys seeing right now in the marketplace?
Well, let's cut to the chase, man. Downtown Toronto condos are very slow right now.
Correct.
Very
yeah.
slow.
Yeah.
If you have a buyer right now, or if you are a buyer, you have a lot of choosing.
So much choices.
So
A lot of
choice.
options. A lot of options.
I feel like it's not everywhere. Like, it depends on area. So in York Region and Markham and Richmond Hill, I find if you have a good property and it's listed at a reasonable price and it's staged well, professional photos, those still sell.
Sometimes what I'm seeing is a lot of people are still trying that strategy of listing low.
It still works in some cases.
In some cases.
In
Not
specific
all.
markets,
Yeah.
like Markham, Richmond Hill, they still use it.
like in
They
good,
still-
the ones in
I think it's
good
more
school
of a-
zones.
Are you guys seeing any bid wars for condos?
No.
Condos?
No.
Condos are dead, man.
I've seen a few, but
Well, it's not
They're
dead.
dead.
It's not dead. There's a market. It's just people are. I feel like okay, everyone's kind of waiting right now.
Well, why? Like, I mean, why is it so slow?
Our condo market. Well, first of all, our condo market has actually increased significantly in terms of inventory, right? And it's insane.
We see that.
But I feel like I'm talking to a lot of different people, right? We all do. We all talk to a lot of different people, and I'm hearing that. Oh, you know what? Like, I don't want to buy right now. It's too high. The interest rates are too high, right? And my expenses are going to be too high. I can't afford it, right? And they don't really. I feel like people aren't really working through the numbers. They're just kind of. It's just
you know
a
what?
feeling.
Everyone's saying it, so everyone's mob mentality. Honestly,
Correct.
I think it's when
Yeah.
you hear someone say that, they're
But
like,
but not only that, right? But also the sellers have high expectations. They don't want to sell their condos, at a price that's market value right now.
of course, yeah.
Because market value right now, I feel like it was market value 5 years ago. They have 2022 numbers still stuck in their heads, right? So, for example, I'm looking at this one building, right? It's in Yonge and Shepherd area. The one bedrooms did sell at one point in that building for $770,000, right? For one bedroom. Right now, people are still asking 760, 750. Most recent ones that sold were like in the low sevens, right? And now everyone's like still up there, right? And some are even more ridiculous because they have it at the mid to upper sevens with no parking. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you smoking? Right?
Yo,
Because- no,
marijuana
that's
is
legal.
legal. You know, these guys
it's
are
legal.
on
It's
it.
legal. Go ahead. Yeah.
But they don't want to let go of their properties at a devalued price.
Yeah.
They rather rent it out, right? And it's so frustrating because people are there's a lot of first of all, why do you think there is so much inventory on the market right now?
I have an answer for that. People that are actually coming up for renewal, they either can't handle the cost, or maybe maintenance went up, or property tax. I think next year is going to go up 10% or something, 9%, 10% in Toronto. That's going to go up. So everything's going up, and nothing is really helping them to alleviate. And rent prices don't cover their cost
Yeah,
either.
the cash
so-
flow is not looking too good.
Yeah,
right now,
so
especially at
every
these
month,
interest rates.
every month, how much are you losing? You're actually losing on a monthly negative cash flow, right?
Yeah.
So it makes sense to sell.
Yeah. So I think, a lot of the condos, I don't know what you guys are seeing, but I'm seeing that, maybe some of the condos that are on the market right now, they were tenanted. And the cash flow probably didn't make any sense at all.
They're subsidizing the tenants being there.
Exactly.
it's-
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why would investor keep that, and why not just put into like Nvidia stock?
Especially if we're looking at the prices, they're actually not going up, and rent's not covering. Then none of these
Okay, well,
factors.
first of all, even back when the market was decent,
Yeah.
landlords are still subsidizing $300-$400 a month.
But with the expectation that the price is going to keep going up.
Correct. And now they're subsidizing like $1,000
To lose money.
I know,
a month,
out of pocket,
right?
man.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
imagine these renters.
That's
They're actually living at
They're actually
a
kind of
discounted
chilling.
price,
They're kind of chilling right now. Yeah.
right? The renters are
Which is
living
why a
at
lot of them don't
discounted
want to
price.
move, right?
Sorry.
Which is why a lot of them don't want to move.
Well, even
Right?
then, a lot of renters are like, "Wow, it's so expensive, so expensive."
Yeah.
Right. And it's
If I leave, what am I going to find? The price has gone up. But have you guys seen in the rental market in general that it's
Rental market's also dead
It's
too.
stale. It's a little
Yes.
stale.
yeah, I know. Oh my god. Okay. No, there's a lot of people looking to rent. It's just there's a lot of tenants that are not quality tenants. Like they're giving you fake documents. Like how many? I've gotten so many fake documents, guys. Like
Some of them are doctors so bad. You actually
How do you know they're fake? Like how
well,
do
you do. You go through you go through the verifications. You call the references. You call you go back. So they give me they'll give me like the landlord names, and we have our systems that we can check. Hey, like who's the actual owner? And when they actually give it to you, they're like, okay, it's William, but it's like
It's like
Nadeem,
another name or
Nadeem
something.
Khan, right? It's like William Jackson. It's like who's William Jackson?
William Jackson.
And you ask them questions
Most
about their
generic
property.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, you know what? Like, what kind of property do you buy? Oh, what property do you own here? It's like, oh, it's a condo. It's like, is it a condo? When I looked it up on Yahoo or Google, right?
Yahoo!
Yeah.
showing your age?
Game over.
Wow.
Bro. You just dropped the mic right there. Yahoo.
When I looked it up on Google, it was like a storefront and like an apartment above, right? And they're like, it's a condo, right? So who owns it? When did you buy it, right? Because you know what? I have someone that's looking to
Yeah.
buy, right? And they're like, oh, it's up on the market right now. I'm like, what's the address? Right? I don't see it. I can't find it.
Wait, you asked that much questions?
I ask a lot of questions about the landlord because there's so many people that try to fake it.
Yeah.
And I want them to know that they're caught.
Yeah.
So I asked a lot of detailed questions and to catch them off
Yeah,
guard.
if they can't even answer.
Because if they're prepped, right? They're like, oh yeah, no, I lived here for this long. They've been paying their rent, blah blah blah. But you start asking questions about their property. They should know the information about their own
course.
Oh,
property.
I see.
Absolutely.
I see. Okay,
Right?
that's smart.
Yeah, no, what I'm talking about, have you seen landlords discount their price till they're listing at a certain price, and then after a while they're not getting a quality tenant, or just the market's pretty stale, and then they go down maybe $100.
You know what? Showings are down too for rentals. Like I had a listing before, it was out for a month. There was a lot of inventory in the building. It was a new one. After a while, we had to drop our price just to get showings. Eventually, we got it leased out, but it took a lot longer than it's supposed to.
Yeah, I've noticed that too because I've had to drop a few of my prices too. When I originally priced it, it was around like whatever the price was for the market
That's right.
Right.
at the time, and then showings slowed down, and I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Right, and I look at the market, I'm like, oh shit, there's a lot of inventory. There's
yeah,
a
you
lot
kinda
of
have
people
this-
a
competing
lot of
with my
choices. Yeah,
listings.
they have a lot of
Do you think it's a good time for people that are actually qualified to buy, like to look now? Should they buy a condo?
Well, it depends on what their purpose of buying the condo for, right?
Well, I mean, most people are probably buying to live now, right? Like people that don't have that are renting.
Well, the question is, do you think there's a shortage now
Shortage of what?
of housing?
I mean, with so much inventory now, and people are not buying.
If you look at the numbers of immigration and the population, the demand, I think it's still
Still there.
I think there's still a lack of supply in general, right?
Okay, so here's the thing. Okay, we're talking about a lot of immigrants that's coming in, but these immigrants
Are they staying?
are they staying? Yeah, that's another question.
Yeah.
But are they actually bringing money, or are they like bringing the bare minimum to come in, and they cannot even you cannot even afford
I know.
a property, right? And then it's like, so yeah, we're bringing all these people in, and that's why the rooming houses are starting to, we're seeing a lot more of them because they're basic income.
True. The rooming house business is booming.
Whereas rentals are actually suffering because people can't get qualified. Like none of those guys can get qualified for a regular rental, right?
Well, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's bad tenants in general that's causing the.
No, I don't think it's bad tenants.
It's not that. It's just there's so much on the market right now. Do you know like the 2024 that like this year we have a record number of new condo completions? Like we have a lot of new buildings that were, sold 2018,
Just finished.
2019 and just finished. These buildings are tall, man. Like there's one building at, for example, on the Danforth, right? It's a brand new one. And I see like 50 leases in that building alone.
Yeah.
And that's just one building, right? There's just so
and they're
much.
all at the same time too.
Yeah, and people are like dropping their prices because there's not enough demand. There's not enough people to fill all that. So, and we're going to see that next year as well when we have even more completions. So
Yeah. So really, do you think that there is a shortage now, a housing shortage?
well, I guess not.
Well, I don't know, right? Because it's interesting because
If the houses are there and no one's taking them, the prices are going to come down. I think it comes down to there's still a shortage. The prices are still like way above what people
yeah,
are.
I think that's the problem, right? Is the
Yeah.
affordability factor.
I think so.
Yeah, I think there's housing is probably there may be still a shortage. It's just the cost of getting into those properties are too high.
People would love to have their own space, but
Yeah,
it costs a lot, right?
it's true.
Yeah.
So I actually leads to the next question because you know what? Like I feel like a lot of people are waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. Like right now in the marketplace, they're not doing anything, and
Yeah.
all the inventory is just sitting. Right? It's there's a lot of inventory right now that's just not moving. Right? Showings are down. Properties are just not selling as fast.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are waiting for this rate drop,
Next week.
and that's next week on Wednesday. So do you guys think that there's going to be a rate drop or no?
Well, it's like what 30% chance that it'll drop the rate.
It's
Something like that.
It's a coin toss at this point. You said 30. You know what? Like, I mean, I'm not as optimistic this time around.
Okay. Well,
'Cause-
if it's not next week, it's going to be July, and if it's not July, it's going to be September. So it's
Sometime
coming.
this year. Sometime this year, I think it'll start. Maybe not June 5th.
Yeah, just people on the sidelines, man.
Yeah.
But imagine this, like imagine when they do drop, you see all those headlines. Oh, first interest rate drop since increase, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna go insane.
Yeah, I think I'm hearing mixed reports. Some people are telling me, it's 65%. Like they're reading reports.
Oh,
that
everyone's just guessing at this point.
65% is going to
There
drop.
is no
right? And then
report. There's no
How much?
credible
65%?
report at this point.
Some people are saying 65, and some people are saying, oh, it's 30. Some people are saying whatever, right? And
I'm
it's
gonna
just-
guess 42.5% that it'll drop.
66.7%. That is not going to drop.
But it's a yes or no question. Is it going to drop or not? It's not about 42.5.
I don't know, man.
It doesn't look good, to be honest.
So do you guys think
I think it's
it's
going
going
to
to
stay
drop
the
next week?
same. I think it's going to
I
stay
think
the
this time
same.
they're going to probably stay the same as
I
well.
think it's going to hold.
But-
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel although there is signs of it potentially dropping because I was reading a report that the GDP for Canada versus the US, the difference is actually at the highest. So Canada is actually going down in our economy, whereas the US economy is actually going up significantly. And the gap is actually getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So Canada has to do something to help fix that gap, right? So therefore, the chances of them dropping could possibly be because they want to be able to get that gap closer, right? Because if the gap is too big, then Canadian currency is going to go down.
Yeah, so Canada has a higher chance of decreasing the rates versus US.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think they mentioned in the last report that there's a bit of they have a buffer in terms of the difference between Canada and the US. Right, so they might just drop it for that purpose, but I don't know. I think once they start dropping, I think it's going to be a bit of a slippery slope for for what they want to do or what people are going to start doing. I think inflation's down. This whole inflation thing is kind of like crazy because they're measuring one item to measure the inflation, right? But other things are inflated differently,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know how whatever the media or the government wants to use as a way to talk about that. But I don't know, like based on that point, I think there could be a probability that there is a change, but in the same time, is that like
45.2% probability.
I don't know. What do you guys think? If our gap between like Canada and US is too big, right? Don't you think? I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking.
That's beyond my knowledge, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
I just sell homes.
I mean, we always try to align
So why
ourselves
do you
with
guys
the
think
U.S.
that? Why
market.
do you
I
guys feel
understand
that it
but-
won't drop?
It's just a confidence level right now.
Yeah, I don't think the government wants to shake things up that much. I think they're going to be steady because once it does drop, you know what's going to happen.
What's gonna happen?
Everyone's jumping back in.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to jump back in.
They
We
need
got
to.
this.
It's required, man.
I know people have money. There's a bunch of people that do have money and they're sitting on the sidelines. They've either taken their money out of the market, taking money out of whatever investments they have, and they're just kind of sitting and waiting.
Exactly.
Right.
For that
But-
signal and that signal.
But they also the government also has to factor in a lot of people that don't have properties, that don't have investments or whatever. So if that happens, what happens to those guys when all this money comes back and like floods back the market, right? So
I think there's a lot of inventory, like especially with these condos that are being delivered right now
Yeah.
by the builders. I mean, I think, like you said, it's a record number,
Yeah.
right? Even recently in March, delivered so many units on the downtown Toronto that the rental market is just completely
Yeah.
flooded.
And they're
Yeah.
they keep adding it to
Definitely.
the rental pool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just downtown with a client looking for a rental downtown. The places that we saw, they've been on the market for a while.
it's a buffet. You can
Like
pick
we're not even
anything
worried
you
that
want.
they're going to be taken,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Whereas a couple of years ago, you'd be like,
can
you better
actually
move
talk-
now. You see it, put an offer in that day. Now we're like, okay, it'll be there. Don't
Oh,
worry.
you know what?
can
So I
wait.
don't know what you guys think. Do you guys see? Let's say if you have a rental client, they're looking at a property. Are they still paying full price? Or are they like negotiating?
Well, you can definitely
No.
negotiate
You,
better
you
now.
definitely can, but
There
what's
is
the
some room
norm?
for negotiation, right?
What's the norm though? Like, I mean, if you're on the listing side, are people giving you lowballs? If you're on the tenant side, are you lowballing people?
Of course. Yeah, you lowball.
You know what? I think it depends on the area too. Like, so if you go downtown, for example, there's some areas.
Would you
right?
try to lowball?
I think everyone's trying to lowball.
Yeah, why not?
I think you should.
What's the
You
disadvantage
should-
of
you should-
lowballing?
You should for the
No,
benefit.
no,
of your
there's
client.
not.
I,
None at
actually,
all.
I'm seeing it different because I work mostly on the landlord side, but I'm getting that, like,
they
if
staying
if I'm
firm?
overpriced, I'm not getting anything, and nobody's even looking at it and giving me a low ball number.
Okay, but then
right?
Then
Once
you're
you
adjusting your
adjust the
price.
price, then like, oh
Exactly.
man, the flood of like
Yeah.
you price it properly,
Yeah.
then the flood of offers. Like for example, I have a property in Mississauga, right? I had it priced at $2,800 for 2-bedroom, right? And I had it there for about a month and a half. And like the showings were there, like people were looking, and you know, like, oh, we're looking at a unit, a different unit. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Then I looked at the market and I'm like, oh my God, there's actually so many units, 2-bedroom units
Yeah.
on the
Right.
market. I'm like, okay, shit, I'm gonna change it, 2,700, and we did.
Yeah, you
And,
priced it
man,
right, and
I
then
got
it-
right away,
I
like
know.
within a couple
But
of days.
people were giving you
Everything
the
is
full
price
ass
driven.
though, right?
They're giving me full
But,
ass.
but you also have to be in the right area. Like I said, so downtown Toronto, there's some areas that are they can afford the premium, they can ask the premium, they'll get it.
But
it's key. Like,
if
they'll
you're
always
priced
get
right,
that,
if
They'll-
you're priced right though,
No, no,
would
I
you
know.
still justify someone like? Would you still take on someone that's lowballing you?
Yeah,
Is
well,
it,
it depends on the
it
tenant.
depends on the
tenant,
quality. Is it a
yeah.
quality tenant? Like there's so many factors, right?
Dude,
So
if Kanye is like gonna rent your place for $100 cheaper, I'd wait. Maybe not Kanye. I don't know. Kanye, I'm just
Can he still?
that was a bad
Kanye.
example.
Why Kanye? Where did that
Oh,
come
it's
from?
Kanye doesn't rent.
First guy
What are you
that came to my
talking
mind.
about?
I don't know why. But let's just say, like, yeah, it depends
Kanye
on
don't
the
rent.
tenant.
$100 less.
No, he doesn't rent every
$100
time.
less.
It just depends on the tenant, right? But here's the thing too. Like a lot of people that have it in the renting pool, and then let's just say it's vacant, right? Oh man, it hurts to keep it vacant. Like
Absolutely.
the carrying cost on that is insane.
Yeah, I know.
So they
I know,
want to
I know.
get a tenant in there as soon as possible, and they
Of
just keep
course.
dropping the price until someone bites, right?
But don't
But
you?
this-
Don't you think that opens it up to potential problems with the quality of tenant if you're just taking an offer and then tenant because you're desperate?
Well, you still got to be diligent.
But that's what I'm saying. Like it's a higher risk. Some landlords that I have, they don't care. They'll wait a year if they have to until they find this person with.
Okay, but that was
five
that's
check
interesting.
marks.
That's an interesting
They'll
perspective.
hold off.
That's easier said than done.
Yeah,
Not everyone can
they
do
have to
that.
have a lot of reserves to do that.
Yeah.
I know. Not everyone can do that,
yeah.
right? I'm just saying though, the
But it
risk
makes-
is there if you're just saying, okay, like we've been on the market for 90 days, 120 days now. Let's just take somebody. Let's
But
just
no.
take this person.
Yeah,
You-
that's true.
that's potential
That's true. But you know what? Like
Problems down the line.
it's good for them because like if they are looking for that right tenant, because when you have a bad tenant and you're a landlord, it's
costs
the
you way
worst
more.
experience.
It costs you way more.
It's the worst experience you can ever have, right? To have a bad tenant that's giving you problems, that's not
course.
paying rent,
Of
that's
course, I know.
giving you trouble in your own unit,
Yeah.
right? And then when you have a good tenant, then that's great. But the problem is that if you have it vacant and it's just sitting there,
Yeah.
I
it's
get it.
sitting there,
You're
sitting
bleeding
there,
out.
sitting
It's-
there.
I get it. I know.
Like if you bought many years ago on a cheap rate and then you got to renew and your carrying cost is like $3,000-4,000 a month, how long you could hold out, right?
You're right. Or you get it. You find you take a tenant, and now he or she hasn't paid for 12 months, and the cost of recouping that
Well,
far
sure,
far
but-
outweighs the $4,000 that you had to wait for a tenant,
Yeah, that's true.
right? Like I'm just saying, risk reward.
Yeah, no, I agree. But you know what? Like sometimes you have to compromise a little bit on your standards.
Yeah. So when it comes to leases, what have you seen in terms of flexibility? So it's listed at this price. Have your landlords taken
the most
substantially
part-
less for a good tenant, or with a?
For the most part, like I've done a couple leases. They've all been full ask.
Oh, good. Congrats.
Either it's list or tenant. I just tell them like, hey,
Congrats.
you know what? If you like this place,
give them
why
what they want.
why would you want to lose out on it for something that's inferior? So you have like option 1, 2, and 3. If you like option 1, go full ask.
Mm-hmm.
Why risk losing out? And then now you're going to be unhappy with me because I suggested you to lowball? No. If they're tight on money, then they shouldn't be looking at that.
Why can't you lowball and then they say no and then you come back in price?
It might be gone though.
Oh, but not anymore. Not in today's market.
It was actually like in.
No, it depends. It's not.
It
It's
depends on the- depends on the building.
location, the property. Because
It does.
A hot property will still go fast and high demand, right?
Yeah.
Regardless. So
Yeah,
you're right. I get it.
well, for my dealings at least, they've all been full ask because maybe they're just hot. I don't know what it is, right?
It's just you, bro.
But again, my suggestion is if we know that this is a hot property, don't beat
Don't
around the
even
bush.
bother. Yeah, just
don't beat around
give
the
them
bush.
the asking.
Yeah,
I
as an
understand.
agent, you got to give the right advice and give them,
I give them the options. I'm like, hey, you can definitely lowball, but if you lose this because you're cheap,
Don't call me and
Okay,
don't
that-
blame me.
That depends.
Right.
But if you're in a building and there's like 20 options,
now that's a different story.
that's a story right now though in
Yeah.
the rental market. A
Well,
lot
I
of it.
mean, like there were some new buildings that were at they were kind of moving, but there was definitely less inventory. So
Okay. Well, very specific cases, but I say in general, there's a lot of inventory and people have a
in
lot
some
of choices
buildings,
right
yeah,
now.
in some
buildings for
areas,
sure.
some buildings, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. It's hard to
Yeah.
negotiate when you've got 50 other competitors in the same unit, same square footage.
Same thing. When I was on the listing side, there was like 25 other listings,
A lot of listings.
and I got full asking. So
Did you stage it? What, like,
no, it's a brand new building. They just paid me out. Like, all
Right. Well,
Okay.
actually,
So it really
change the topic
depends.
a little bit here for a second. In terms of the capital gains tax that is going to be implemented in about a month, 25 days.
what the 2/3?
Yeah.
66.7.
Yeah.
Yes,
so, how
yes.
many, are you seeing a lot of new listings on the market because of the capital gains
It's hard
tax?
to tell. How do you tell
Yeah,
though?
it's too
Like,
fresh.
so-
I can't.
Yeah, it's funny because it's hard to tell, but you know what? You can kind of see it though, because I was preparing for a listing downtown or preparing a listing presentation downtown, and I'm looking at all the different properties around there, and I'm seeing a whole bunch of duplexes, triplexes,
Rental
rooming
properties,
homes.
right?
These are rental homes, right? And they're either finished or they're fixed up a little bit, or they're they're tenanted, of course. Some are really trash. Right? It's really old because they're generally older downtown. And I'm wondering, okay, well, why are there so many these properties up on the market? And I actually, like, one of them, believe it or not, the owner had to come in and show it to me because it was a rooming home. And he opened the door and I asked him, like, oh, like, how long have you owned this property? He's like, 30 years. And I'm like, 30 years? That's crazy. I'm thinking, well, why is he selling, right? And I didn't ask him why because it just seems a little impolite. So I'm like, I guess you just want to close before like June 25th then, right? He's like, yeah. So, and it was just, it was interesting that, like, and a lot of these are probably in the same position that they're trying to sell. And there's a lot
There's
of
enough
these-
equity. It's motivating for them to.
Yeah, but
Definitely.
it's such a
Well,
hard
it's-
thing to measure, though.
no, it
Like, how
sucks
do you really
because
know
it
if
sucks
that's
because,
the motivation, right?
I mean, if you own a property for 30 plus years and
There's a lot of equity
there's
there.
no reason why you had to sell before, and now you have this tax that's coming up.
Maybe his kid's getting married.
'Cause
and
it's
he
only
needs
the
some
first
capital,
250K.
or he wants to buy something
That's-
else, or
Yeah, but you have to understand that, like, these properties have,
So
like 30
much.
years ago,
I
how much
know.
was the property downtown? It was like
250K.
300. Yeah, 300.
Yeah.
Right now it's like 1.2, 1.5.
That's
Right.
a lot of percentage.
So yeah, the gap is, or that capital gains tax is pretty freaking heavy. And you know what sucks is because it's not grandfathered. So like, people who bought and now
I know. It doesn't matter when you
It's
bought.
like
now.
if you
It's-
bought it in this 50,
yeah, like they
it's-
should put, okay, well, any properties that bought after June 25th, 2024, right, is now affected by this capital gains tax. But no, like it's
I know.
there's no date.
way back.
It's
right?
anytime.
It's kind of unfair. It really is unfair, right? Because you have all these people that are like using this as their retirement money,
Yeah.
and
I
now
know.
they're forced to sell, right? And it sucks. And they're selling at a loss because they want to save on the tax. Because selling at a loss or selling at a lower number, it makes sense for them because at the end of the day, they're going to just give it to the government regardless, right? So it's such an interesting change in that market. Yeah, but it's a very like I feel like there's more inventory because of that purpose too.
Yeah.
There's got to be a few here.
That's
and there
definitely
for
one
sure.
factor.
Yeah.
So it's so strange. I don't know. Like there's so much inventory. People are like, oh, we're waiting, but there's so much inventory on the market.
So is that your experience right now? Like a lot of the buyers are still sitting on the sideline
Yeah.
for you
Yeah.
guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
If they're not moving out of
100%.
necessity, they're on
Yeah.
the sideline. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm constantly hearing, okay, well, if I move, I got to add more mortgage. I don't want to add to my monthly expenses
Yeah,
already.
that's right.
Interest rates are too high. So like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's I don't want to move because
Unless
of that
they
purpose.
absolutely need to, they're not gonna
Yeah.
actively try to like look.
Correct.
Until the rates drop, right? Even though at the end of the day, 0.25% drop is not going to make too much difference financially, but it's the
It boosts
confidence
confidence
and
for
Exactly.
it's the FOMO.
It's so true. No,
Yeah.
it goes back to our earlier joke here because everyone's just like, oh, if I buy now, because we as a realtor, we always try to explain the logic. We kind of draw the picture out, draw the opportunity. You know, hey, here's the opportunity. You know, you can take advantage of it. But you know, people are like, okay, I see it, I understand it.
They
But
listen
now
to
it's
their
like-
parents, they listen to their friends.
It's so silly. I mean, how many times have you like heard, oh yeah, you know, my sister, my uncle said not to buy right now.
They advised me. No, they advised me it's not the right time to do such and such. And I'm like, what do they do?
just-
they
Licensed
They're a
realtors.
cook.
What
No,
do you
no,
know?
no. Like, how much are you actually saving? Okay, if you're saving, let's say, I don't know, like $200 a month on your mortgage because you know they're waiting for that drop, right? And then, but they're now going to see $30,000 more on their purchase price, right? Then what? Like 2,400 for 30,000? Does that ratio make sense?
the
for
thing
you?
is, whoever advised you is not paying that bill. So
right? And then when you do,
That's a
okay,
good
yeah, it makes
point,
sense. I want
That's
to
a very
take
good
advantage of the
point,
market.
they can say whatever they want, and then when it comes to like, oh, well, I'm just gonna walk this way. You deal with your problem now.
No, but but like buying a property is such a stressful process.
It is a stressful
And so
process.
you have so many people in your ear, not just the realtors. Like, so we
A lot of
we're
fluff, yeah.
competing with their uncle, their
Non-professionals,
aunt, their
non-industry
best friend,
people.
or their friend who's bought real estate, or someone other than the professionals who sell real estate for
Or
a living.
influencers or something.
So on TikTok, there was this guy who said, you gotta do this. This is how you get a deal.
Yeah.
This is what you got to listen to. Listen
is
to me.
crazy.
So as realtors, we're frustrated because we're competing with so many other voices.
It's still mob mentality because they're too worried about the opinion of everyone else.
Everyone
Because
else.
you know what? Here's the thing: is that we were joking about this earlier, but like if I did buy, okay, let's say I say, okay, forget it. I don't care about what other people say. I'm going to do it. I'm going to buy it because I see the opportunity. It makes sense. And then like all of a sudden it's like, oh, your uncle's like, oh, why'd you buy?
Yeah.
Why did
It's
you
so
buy?
expensive.
Way too much.
So much
No,
money.
No,
Right?
don't do it.
Idiot.
Yeah.
It's like interest rate's so high, right? Like why'd you do it? You should wait. You should wait.
Backside.
You should wait.
Front side, back side. Yeah, no, exactly. You're competing with old school mentalities.
Oh, that's
Okay,
something
anyways, there's so many other influences in a purchase decision, but it makes our job a lot more
You guys are
challenging.
hearing this too, right? I'm
Absolutely.
assuming you guys all hear this right
Absolutely.
now.
I hear it.
It's understandable though. Like, people have to be cautious. I'd say if
But
you're, as an
where are
investor-
they getting their info from? That's the thing, right?
Well, they get the information anywhere, man. But
News.
I'm just saying, like, as an investor, would this be the right time? I don't know. Because
Maybe not for investors, but like for people that need to move in for their first home, it is absolutely the perfect time because now you can shop deals.
it's true. You're supposed to. What did Warren Buffett say? You gotta be
You
greedy.
gotta-
when
Yeah,
you-
if people are scared, then you actually kind of it's the time to go in. Because same thing happened during COVID when no one was buying. Everyone that bought during COVID, look at them now. Look what they bought back then. This was like what 4 years ago. Look at what happened in like a couple years.
Yeah.
It's huge.
All right, pop quiz. Ready? You guys ready for this? All right, so we're talking about number of sales per region. So we're talking Peel region, York region, Durham region, and Halton region. Okay, so out of all those regions, which region had the most number of sales in April? Peel, York, Durham, or Halton?
York region.
York,
York region is wrong.
Peel.
Peel had the most number of sales. And this is, mind you, this is all types of housing, right? Condos, townhouses, detached semis, et cetera, et cetera. So Peel was number one with 3,045 sales.
But how does that compare? Like, how
Yeah,
is
I
I
that?
don't
is
have
that
the month over month one says. I don't have the
I mean,
month over
York
month
York
numbers.
region probably had the
does that
I'm
Well,
just doing,
okay,
I'm
so-
just doing in terms of
Okay, so
Sheer
Peel
number
and
for April.
how many were sold in York?
in York was 1,270.
Okay, but what's the average?
I don't have those stats.
Okay,
No,
so
they probably have the
I was
most
just giving you a pop
dollars
quiz.
though. They
This
probably
is
have
just a
like
pop quiz for last
Okay,
month.
so who's second then?
Second, no, yeah, that would be York.
York was second.
really
2,000 inventory.
1,270 homes.
I know, but you said Peel was 3,000.
45.
versus 1,000. That's the next one.
Yeah.
well, does Peel have more homes in general? Like I don't know, right?
Yeah, they have a
like
bigger
you got to
yeah,
take these
wow.
numbers in the context.
Well,
Like
this-
how was it compared to like March? How was it compared to
I'm
year
not,
over
I'm
year?
not, I'm giving you those. I'm not giving you those stats. I'm just telling you for the month of April, it's pop quiz. Okay, we're not.
No,
we're
no,
not,
but
we're
like,
not
okay, let's
analyzing
let's dissect
month
it
over
then.
month, year
But
over
these
year.
are just random numbers.
Well, I'm just telling you the sales activity for April. I told you that from the beginning. Like,
Pop
Your pop quiz
quiz.
is
sucks,
not-
bro.
Pop
This
quiz.
is not-
How many uncles does Richard have?
I'm just asking you guys: region, Peel, York, Durham, or Halton.
yeah, but these numbers have to have some context.
The context is which region had the most number
Most
of sales
transactions.
in April,
Okay.
regardless of the month or the year over year. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay, go give
I'm
another
just-
one. Give another one.
Listen, I get
Give it another
stats. I'm just sharing it with everybody.
Okay.
We don't have to do this pop quiz.
You're getting too much pressure, bro.
I mean, I seriously, I don't care.
It's getting
Kenny,
re-questioned
you know what?
for the
No,
pop
you do
quiz.
it. You're making it hard, man. Like,
We don't want the pop quiz, bro.
I'm not giving any context of year over year or month.
All right,
Totally
Kenny,
ruined it for you,
give
man.
us a pop quiz
Yeah,
question.
give us a. You know what?
Let's go.
Kenny, you give us
Okay,
a
how
pop
much of
quiz.
an inventory increased in the month of April? What was the biggest? What was the increase from March to April for active listings?
Active listings? Without cheating.
Oh, you're
Okay,
looking
no,
right there.
I'd say maybe about 50% more.
50% more.
More active listings that are still sitting on the market versus the
Interesting.
month before.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's about right. Yeah,
I
so
think-
active listings plus 45% month over month from March to
Okay.
April. It's
All
quite a
right.
bit.
That's
It's
a big jump.
It's a lot of inventory.
It went from what was the like start of March to
So how many active listings are there?
Right now, there's like 18,000.
18,000.
Well, as of April, but March is gonna
the next
it's gonna-
March is going
it's
to
gonna be much
uh,
higher.
Sorry, May is going to come out next week.
Or
right?
sorry, May. Yeah, May is gonna be higher.
18,000 listings
But
Yeah,
also,
I
like
think
April
that have not
is
been sold.
from. Okay, what do you think the year over year is? The number of active
Oh,
listings?
last year was a lot better. I'd say
well, April was
Oh.
better last year for sure.
I'm
Way
cheating
better.
because I see it right in front of me, so I won't say anything.
Okay, well,
'Cause you're
this is-
actively cheating,
well,
though.
Last year, April. What was your experience last year, April?
It's fairly busy for me, actually.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was.
It was busy.
Well, I mean,
It was.
the
It was
rates
busy.
were moving, but they were not today, right?
yeah.
So
I found that
last
the
year was-
market was hot until June,
yeah.
and then they announced that rate hike,
well,
in
the
June?
multiple hikes, and then
and then it went down.
Anyway, so Kenny shared year over year, April from April 2024 to 23,
60% more.
I think it was like
average.
plus 74% more inventory. So last year, 2023, we had 10,000, and right now, April, we have 18,000, and it's gonna go even higher
It's
in
crazy.
May. So it's a big change.
yeah.
So
I think that's
Definitely buyer's market, I would say, right now.
I think no. I think no,
Balanced
I think it's
a
still
little bit?
it's getting closer to balance because the balance is like if you have 6 months of inventory.
Okay.
Right? I think right now,
How
if
many
I'm not
months we at
mistaken, it's
now?
probably about like 4.5 months of inventory right
So
now.
we're creeping up
I think
there.
we're in a bit of a balance. Here's the stat. So year over year, April 2024 to April 2023, average sale price, all types of properties in GTA in Toronto.
This is a pop quiz.
What's this?
This is a pop quiz.
Is this a question?
This is a question. What do you think? How much more did it go up or down? Average sale price.
Did it go up? I
In
think
terms of
prices
price.
went
Oh, price went up.
Average sale price.
Yeah, price went up.
stable.
Stable? You say up?
I say up.
Kenny?
Flat, I guess.
Yeah, so average price, April 2023, across the board, Toronto real estate, 1.15, 2.
Was that increase?
No, so average now, April 2024, 1.156. Barely 0.3% increase.
Stable.
So it's stable.
Stable. Yeah.
Stable.
The prices didn't dip.
Very strange.
They're very,
Right? Like, I mean, that's shocking. to me,
Inventory
though. Like, it
dipped.
barely went up.
like inventory
I'm
went
trying, I'm
up.
trying to understand the buyer behavior right now, or the market.
Well, it's the
behavior.
seller behavior where they're just being stubborn, right? If they're not going to sell for a lower, then they're just going to try.
It's
Try to
stubborn, but it also, I mean, it also depends on their
Depends how desperate you
exactly their
Yeah.
personal situation.
So-
'Cause I
okay.
know-
I wouldn't say it's stubborn because some of them.
are. Oh, you guys remember that case? I was bidding, and then we gave them that money like a couple episodes ago.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. The
um,
75,000 was $70,000 more.
Yeah, it was 70,
Wait, was
not
it like
75.
75,000?
Sorry, that was realtor math. Sorry. But
got comments on that.
I did.
Your realtor. It's like with Rod, left or right.
Listen, I'm gonna get comments on my pop
But
quiz,
anyways,
guys. So
I mean, that's that story. That house is still for sale. It was in February. Now we're in June. It's still for sale. They're still asking 1.4 something.
What's their desired price?
What they
want.
would have got was 1.5.
And now
What
they're
my
asking
clients were
what-
going to give them.
Now they're asking less than that.
They're like 1.468, and it's still sitting for months. It's not moving.
So the gamble didn't work
The
out.
gamble did not pan out.
Yeah, I'm noticing that too. But it says average price. So is it maybe bigger homes, more expensive homes that are skewing the average? Because average is not a really
Yeah.
good indication.
I know
that's-
that's
'cause
everything meshed
That's
together.
too, yeah.
Because I'm finding a lot of
You got
condo
condos.
prices, even back to 2020 prices, to be honest, downtown.
That's what I mean, right? So we're
Condo
going back
prices
to like
are
almost
definitely
5
lower.
years now with the pricing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're seeing 1 bedrooms in the 500s now. I'm
Yes.
seeing 1+ dens in the 500s now.
Mhm.
Right? Like it's
About
pretty low.
$1,000 a foot. I'm seeing those too.
Going back to $1,000 a foot. Yeah,
I've seen some.
makes sense. But they have to sell. Like that's the problem. They have to sell because they're under financial stress.
Yeah.
Right? The people that are actually that are moving are people that are under financial stress.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a divorce.
There's a lot of people under financial
yeah,
stress.
A divorce,
certainly. separations.
people Yeah.
I'm doing a
exactly.
couple of those as well.
Deaths.
Yeah, I know.
So just like out of curiosity, like maybe not us, but the people that we know, everyone that I know is complaining about grocery prices. This is expensive. That's expensive. So their overall monthly bill has gone up quite significantly when you add it all up. And I think this is adding towards the stress towards like just home ownership and home affordability. What do you guys think?
Correct. Yeah. I mean,
Are you guys
at the end
hearing
of the
that?
day, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I've had maybe 4 or 5 conversations the last week about grocery bills
Yeah, yeah.
with random people.
What are you
Like not
talking
even-
about? What are you talking about? Like
People-
about the
people's-
groceries?
Kenny doesn't do the shopping, so he doesn't understand.
No, I do. I'm like, what do you say? Like, yo, do you know what the price of butter? Like, what are
No,
you
not
talking about?
even.
It's just
but, like-
overall bill.
Oh, okay.
Like their overall bill. Like they may have spent like $70 in the past, right? As a single person, like my bill is probably about I don't know like $100 now per week for groceries, right? Which is and I don't even eat
for
at home
for
that
one
much.
person.
For one person, right?
Also, that's alcohol. So I mean, like,
Not including
You're drinking
alcohol.
out of boredom.
No. It's true though. Like, I mean, if you start factoring out, like I start breaking down like too, like, okay, how much is this meal costing
Like your
me?
meal prep?
Like how much is this meal costing me?
Yeah.
And honestly, I find that the average is about $6 to $7 per meal that I make at home, right? Never mind going out to eat, right? Sometimes if you go out to eat, right, you can go buy like, I don't know, like a big box,
it's minimum $15 to $20 every time you go out to eat, just for yourself.
Yeah.
Minimum. Like everything's.
Yeah.
gone
Where are you
up.
going to find something
Everything's
that's,
gone up.
First Marketplace food court, man.
yeah, I know. I was just thinking
Yeah.
that.
That's gone up too. What are
Like
you
you can
talking
buy
about?
like
That's
a
gone up
box
too.
of
It's still
$11.
That's gone
cheaper.
up too, though.
It's still cheaper than some other places some options. Rod, do you see that you're
Yeah.
is it stressing
absolutely.
you out?
I
Like,
know. Because
obviously
we
you
look at we look at our grocery bills, and I
You
know.
have 6 kids.
I know.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
Yeah.
like
But it's true. Though.
pointing
We've
out.
seen them. We've seen the bills.
How much
They've-
how much would you say you were paying before?
like
versus
it's gone
kinda
up
like
at
now?
least like 10%. Like it's crazy.
At least.
Yeah. But also my kids,
So what would-
my kids
what
are
would
getting
be
bigger too. So I mean, they're eating.
So they eat more.
right? So there's factors in that. But if we look at what we were paying 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, even last year for the same item, it's definitely gone up.
And this is why people are not buying houses because
Well,
of
no, I
groceries.
think what's happening.
Let's go
is-
back to
I
the
mean,
housing
it's not
thing.
necessarily about.
Well,
buying
people are
houses.
selling.
It's a
people
factor,
are selling
but
though.
it's come on. People
Yeah.
still need to buy. They still need homes. The basic need for shelter is still there, right? Regardless
But-
of the spike in prices of.
Yeah. Well, the point is that
Everything
like their
else.
disposable income has actually gone down a lot more, or their actual like monthly spend, or what they can afford, or what they can spend now.
Mhm.
Right. It's much less. The money's shrunk.
I actually think this is one of the factors. Like they don't feel it in a month. They don't feel it in a couple months. After a while, this is factoring into why people are actually selling as well. Because let's say they're renewing their mortgage, all these bills are getting more and more expensive. Now they're monthly. They can't afford, so they must sell.
So where are they going?
Going back home,
What do you mean going back
We'll
home?
go back home.
parents or something.
Oh, you're talking
What?
about like specifically kids selling and going back to live with their parents.
Not kids.
What are you
Like-
saying?
Like families. I have some clients that have to like sell and just
Oh, so
Just
like a
sit back and-
45-year-old moving back home.
family.
You mean like adult
Like with
kids
their
have to
mom
go
and
back
dad.
to their parents?
Yeah.
Is what you're saying? Yeah,
I'm seeing that.
I'm seeing that too.
They're not kids.
Well,
They
what
are-
I mean, you said parents, so I said kids. So.
Oh. moving
for
back to
kids.
parents.
Yeah. If
Sort of
they have
deal,
the
you know?
luxury of staying with family, that's wonderful. Obviously, it helps. A lot of people don't, right? So
I mean, if you can't pay your mortgage, you gotta sell.
Well,
right?
I think a lot of people are more or less moving into smaller homes.
they have to
that they can-
downsize, though. Yeah.
They can-
make
it's more
payments,
affordable,
can
yeah.
make it more easier
yeah.
payments. Right, so like they may move from a 4-bedroom to a 3-bedroom.
Okay, so it makes sense. I mean, there's a lot of reasons now why people are selling.
Like forced to sell,
Forced to sell.
move. Yeah.
A lot of inventory, and all the buyers are waiting for the rates to go down. So this will be a very interesting couple weeks and see what happens.
Yeah, I think
right? So
everybody's watching this one specifically. The
Yeah.
last one, like about a month and a half ago,
Everyone expected
Everyone
it to be
expected that
stayed.
one.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
the one that's most
This is the big
hyped
one.
up.
This is the
Yeah,
big
this
one.
one's the one that everyone's watching. All eyes are on June
Yes.
5th.
Right. Well, we'll see what happens, man.
All right, we'll
All
see what happens.
Good topic, guys.
All right, cool.
Good stuff.
GG.
You want to wrap it up?
Like, subscribe, and share.
You don't have to say that. If we have good content, they'll do it automatically.
We should always plug it in.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's a call to action.
Call to
on.
action.
And you know what? Last thing, if you guys actually want us to talk about anything specific, let us know in the comments, and we'll bring it up.
All right.
All right,
Sounds good.
awesome.
All
All right,
right. See you guys.
later.